The Chesapeake Police SWAT team executed a search warrant at the suspect's residence, and with the help of the Virginia State Police, we cleared the house. We have reason to believe that there's no risk to the public at this time.
And we continue to follow that breaking news out of Chesapeake, Virginia this morning. 6 people are dead after a shooter opened fire inside of a Walmart. That shooter was an employee there. We have now learned he is also dead. Here to talk more about this latest tragedy with us this morning, Stuart Kaplan. He's a former FBI special agent. Stuart, you and I were talking yesterday in the wake of the shooting in Colorado about our mindset around public places right now, and how do we look for the exits? How do we stay aware of our surroundings? And here we are a day before Thanksgiving, and we've got this tragedy in Chesapeake. It does seem to me, listening to police there, they were very quick getting to the scene. They were very quick in the investigation and learning more details about the shooter. What stands out to you?
Well, it's a very sobering reminder. As you know, yesterday, unfortunately, I did indicate it wasn't if, it was just a matter of when the next mass shooting was going to occur. I said there are people out there right now that are planning or in the preparation stages of creating this type of havoc. This, unfortunately, has become the new norm for us in the United States. And it just goes to show that at any point, at any time, in any place here in the United States, we all are potential victims of someone who is hell-bent on creating this type of carnage. Now, with that being said, more specifically with respect to your question, the police did a remarkable job. They showed up on scene, I think, within 2 minutes. It took them, I believe, another 2 minutes to mobilize. That basically is to gear up and make entry. But it goes to show you, even within 2 or 3 minutes, for someone who has the ability to discharge a firearm in rapid succession, can create quick carnage. And that's the unfortunate situation. And that's why yesterday I talked about the scenario that if in fact you find yourself on premises or in a place where you hear gunshots, you need to have a plan in place to extricate yourself, to get out of there as quickly as possible.
So police are processing the crime scene right now, and they'll be there for a while as they go through those painstaking details. We have now learned that the shooter was an employee at the Walmart. Did the investigation, does the approach change knowing that this was likely a workplace shooting, that the person was familiar with the building, with the surroundings, with the people who worked inside?
Well, I think obviously law enforcement is going to want to know who knew what may have been said, were there any text messages, were there any emails, were there any notices that perhaps supervisors or managers or fellow employees were aware that this person was not in the right frame of mind? Was there a situation where perhaps this manager felt he was the target of some sort of harassment or some vendetta against those that perhaps were gathered in the work place, this break room? We're on the eve of holidays. It's not unusual for workers to get together, to do celebrations, to get together and share gifts, etc. And so I think law enforcement is going to want to see if they can identify as much information as to what fellow employees knew about this individual and what was said. And was this something, again, that could have been anticipated, and could law enforcement have done something to neutralize this potential threat, so it was not a now, carried out threat where now we're left with the carnage to clean up.
Stuart, it is incumbent on all of us to spot warning signs among the people we work with, the people that we love and care about, our family and friends, and report that. Some signs are more obvious, red flags are more obvious than others. But what are some of the lesser known signs and the process of reporting to better be safe than sorry? And who do you report that to if you spot something that is concerning against somebody that you are in communication with?
Well, certainly, I think you see an increase of anxiousness, an increase of isolation during the holiday seasons. It's very unfortunate. I think mental health issues are rampant here in the United States. And so I remind your viewers that if, in fact, you know someone who may have become more isolated, who may have become more disgruntled, or just living a life where they're focused or fixated on the internet, and they're just espousing things that you just kind of know perhaps are just not within normal behavior. and you also know that that potential person may have access to a weapon or is actually in possession of a weapon, what I tell people is, look, law enforcement is designed now with respect to these red flag laws. You can anonymously tell law enforcement that you have concern either about a loved one, an associate, a colleague, a friend. Law enforcement is now obligated to go out and knock on the door and do what is considered anomaly to a welfare check. And if in fact law enforcement is concerned about their interaction with that individual, they have the authority through a civil process to take those weapons away from that individual. And what I would urge all of your viewers to keep that in mind. Look, no one can find fault with you being just cautious. Unfortunately, mental health issues, people are going through mental episodes of, just the heightened depression of being around holidays. Sometimes that exacerbates it. And so I ask people, contact local law enforcement, have them come out and let them knock on a door and see if in fact there may be something to what they feel, and let them take away those weapons from that particular individual.
Yeah, I think the onus is on every single person to do the right thing and to look for those signs and report them if there's something there that concerns you. I wonder about copycats in situations like this. What are the conversations happening within the FBI? I mean, we had the shooting on Saturday in Colorado. We have this. People who are struggling, they see that. What are some of the profile images that you all watch for, warning signs that somebody may see something and do something as a result of seeing it happen somewhere else?
Well, unfortunately, as I touched upon yesterday, there is no one size fits all anymore. We used to be able to really kind of develop a profile of what he or she would kind of look like and what we could anticipate a potential target would look like and what a potential target may be. In this day and age, it's not one size fits all. Unfortunately, at any particular given time, at any given particular place, an individual, generally, you find a person who's living in isolation or just doesn't have the family support or friends around them, that coupled with the fact that they have access to weapons, something at some particular point in time triggers them to escalate their fear or their paranoia. And then they've been in a planning and preparation stage, and now unfortunately they put it into action. And what we need to do again is to identify if in fact you have contact with anybody who you recently noticed may be in that isolation mode. Please contact local law enforcement.
Stuart, thank you.
My pleasure.